Hello everyone. Today we've got an interesting project in the garage. What we're looking at is a 1984 Porsche 944. These came in a couple variations through its production years, and the one we're working on today is that of the naturally aspirated variation. That didn't stop me from purchasing this one though, as I was looking for a project that wasn't crazily rusted to drive around on the weekends when I wasn't wrenching on it. Besides, I've got big plans for this one. In the meantime, we've got a few issues to sort out. The car currently turns over but won't run. It's also got a few leaks that I want to sort out before taking it on the road. There's fuel leaking from the rear passenger side and power steering fluid leaking from, well, the power steering reservoir. As you may have seen, the clutch pedal currently has some tie-down straps hooked up to it. That's because the clutch master cylinder is leaking and there's no hydraulic pressure to the pedal anymore. The previous owner was kind enough to provide a used transaxle from the same year car, but we won't be installing that anytime soon, as well as a fuel pump, which I'm hoping actually sorts out the fuel leak in the rear. Jacking the car up was pretty straightforward. There are two jack points on the sides of the car that I used to lift the car up, and the jack stands were placed under the frame rail in the front and another jack point in the back. Before getting into the fuel pump, I pulled fuse 2 on the fuse box under the driver's steering wheel, attempted to start the car to run any fuel out of the system, then disconnected the negative terminal on the battery. There's a couple of electrical connectors that are on the fuel pump that I don't want arcing when I'm working with fuel. I'm hoping I'm lucky enough that the check valve on the fuel pump is what's leaking and the new pump will resolve it. Besides, the fuel pump was included and I was itching to wrench on something anyways. I wasn't planning on touching this fuel line from the filter to the pump, but as with any job, there's always a few things that end up popping up. Replacing the fuel pump was easy, but resolving the leak was another mystery. The leak was at the top of the fuel pump and would manifest itself whenever there was fuel pressure in the line. I narrowed this down to one, or all, of three things. The check valve on the fuel pump, the banjo fitting that was connected to the fuel pump, or the cap nut holding the banjo fitting to the fuel pump. I went with the cheapest solution first, the fuel pump and the cap nut. The fuel pump was done, and I took the cap nut through some sandpaper on a flat metal surface to hopefully hone any nicks out of the metal that was causing fuel to escape. Unfortunately, that didn't resolve the issue, so after hunting down some parts, I ordered a new fuel line for the pump to filter. While I was shopping, I went ahead and ordered a new fuel tank strainer and some refresh rubber hose for the low pressure side between the fuel pump and the fuel tank. The intention behind this is really just to help any fueling issues the engine might be bottlenecked by while I'm here. With that said, I'll catch up with you when we've got the fuel components installed and we'll try to give the car a start. Installation of the fuel components went pretty smoothly, and although I had to tighten the cap nut on a bit tighter than I expected, the leak did stop. So, adding some fuel and trying to give her a start. Now, we're not done by any means. As you can tell, the car starts up now, but the big puffs of smoke billowing out of the exhaust pipes don't really give me much confidence. We'll have to sort out what the issue is, because whatever it is keeping the car from idling smoothly. On the bright side, the garage stinks of fuel from the exhaust, so we'll take that as clue number 1 to sort out the issue. Remember, there's only 3 things an engine needs to run, which means there's primarily 3 things that may be failing when it's not running well. Spark plugs and wires are coming out to see if it's an ignition issue and just to check the overall condition of them. The spark plugs definitely appear to be overfed based on the amount of carbon buildup and that they reek of fuel. So we'll see if we can get some new spark plugs installed and see if the issue sorts itself out. A couple of other things that could be suspect for the issues we're seeing are vacuum leaks, fuel injectors, fuel regulators, DME relays, among a huge number of other things based on my research. We'll try to start with the easy ones, since plugs are already on the horizon along with the standard maintenance. We'll knock those things out as we get through this project. Since this is pretty standard maintenance involving the removal of the spark plug boots and removing the spark plugs with a socket wrench, I'll let you kick back and watch. Watch till the end to see if this gets resolved. Aside from me pulling out the shop vac to clean out the spark plug wells, there wasn't much difficulty in this job, but the real question is, did it help? And the short answer is no. We'll leave it off there, but hopefully we can get through a few other jobs on this project on the next one. I'm hoping that, at the very least, we'll get the clutch master and slave cylinder installed. So thanks for joining in, and hope to see you all on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe.